Hey, what's going on, guys? Colin here with CH Sports, coming back at you guys with another sporting adventure. I just wanted to make a real quick channel announcement. It's crazy how much this channel has grown in just the short 6 months that I started this channel. And to show my appreciation for that, I have put together a pretty cool giveaway for you guys. And if we look in the background here, it's actually right back there. Give me 1 second. All right, so this here is a signed Scott Withers Gator. If you want a chance to win this thing, you have to do 3 things. One, you have to go and follow my new Instagram, which is ch_sports_photography. The second thing is you do have to be subscribed to the channel. And the third thing is you have to comment down below what is your go-to disc. And out of those comments, I will pick a random winner, and I will announce that once the channel gets to 1,000 subscribers. So this will be my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And again, if you want to get a chance to win this sweet Gator, I'll show you guys one more time just real quick. Boom. If you guys want a chance to win that thing, you have to go and follow the new Instagram, which is ch_sports_photography. You have to be a subscriber to the channel, and then you have to comment down below your go-to disc. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Hello everyone and welcome. This is CH Sports. It is the final round of the 2020 Pac-West Classic. It is just outside Salem, Oregon. My name is Scott Withers and I'm here with the would-be 2020 Pac-West Masters champion if he would have showed up, but he did not. So he's got some choice words for Mr. Jason Pinkel, who won with less than stellar scores. But I am with the one and only Justin Jors. Justin, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing well. I definitely was super bummed to miss this tournament. This is actually the first year I've ever missed this tournament. But I did have obligations for a family event this weekend. I was less than impressed with some of the results that I saw, but either way, it looked like a lot of fun, and I'm excited to watch and see what happens.
So a big shout out, as the screen says, to Mike Wilson. He is one heck of a TD. He has been putting this event on for a long time. You can see him laughing and smiling, and the players like it. And I think at this point he's explaining to us how there is a CTP on the tunnel hole, which was hole 12, but there was an ace on it. I don't know how you ace that hole, but one of the advanced guys hit the ace. Therefore, we were debating on if the CTP mattered where you were positioned in the basket compared to if you put it under the pole. Obviously a joke. The players that we're going to have on the card today, myself starting at 13 under, Eric Wilson starting at 11 under, Andrew Nava starting at 9 under, and DJ starting at 8. We're on hole 1. Justin, what's your play on 1 here?
All right, hole 1. It's not super long. It's got good shape to it. You got to get a little bit of a turnover, and it's got to S back at the end. There's some danger off to the left in the bushes, and you do have to split the double mando out of the gap initially.
So I threw a TL3 first there, a champion 1. There's some headwind on this right now. I don't know if the video quite showed it, but I turned mine over. Eric did the one thing that you really shouldn't do if you make the mandos, and that's bury yourself left. Andrew stepping up, and he's traditionally played this hole pretty well.
Yeah, Andrew's shot looks really, really nice. Gets a good turn on it. Comes back real late, catches the short grass, gets a nice skip forward. And it looked like Eric actually stayed just on the outside of the bushes, so he got lucky there.
And rocking the orange pants, he's got multiple CH Sports appearances this year. First year in pro, this is DJ Herrington. They say he says it's his lucky pants, so I'm not going to argue with him. But that drive turned over, faced with a pretty tough belly up shot, and that's not what you're looking for.
Not where you want to be for your par.
Nope.
That was a good run.
Yeah, but that's in that 80 to 90 foot range, honestly, where you're not really going to make it on this hole, and they always seem to kind of run out. Eric's over here with a super low cover putt.
This is a tough spot. I've actually been here quite often. You have to go really hard at the basket under that cover, which a lot of times rolls back behind that bush.
And DJ stepping up for par. He's worked a lot on his putting over the last year, and at times it can look really, really good, and these can be super routine for him. This one, a little left, misses, and we'll have to settle with about a 20-footer cleanup for bogey, and Andrew lining up birdie putt.
Ooh. Yeah, I left that one a little short. Andrew's probably got some first hole jitters, at least a little bit. Not what you're looking for with a putt for birdie, but you get the par. Eric's going to clean up for his par. Good putt. Got you cleaning up. Good release.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous over those putts on hole 1. You know, even if they're par putts, it's always like how you get the round going. And we'll talk about conditions at this tournament in just a minute. But I think that, like, 14-footer that I had there was maybe my most nervous putt of the day. So, a lot of pars, bogey for DJ. We're moving on to hole 2.
All right, so hole 2, great opportunity for birdie. There's 2 main routes. You're going to go over the top, which is a very traditional MPO play. I think most of the guys in the card are probably going to go over the top. You don't look very happy. I don't think you threw that one hard enough.
If you don't get over the top and you're trying to go over the top, you end up in a really bad spot, which we'll see in a minute. Eric says, you didn't go high enough. I'm going to go straight up in the sky. He gets over it, does what he's supposed to, and that gets you generally a pretty routine birdie putt, although stuff can move on the ground a little bit here. It's not guaranteed that you're parking it with that route.
And Andrew's taken a little bit of a less conventional route, the straight route. There are a lot of bushes to contend with that way.
And DJ watches Eric and I and says, if you guys are going to go over the top, I'm going to go over the top. That's a Sexton Firebird that he's throwing. Pretty normal play. And when you try to go over the top and don't get over the top, this is where you end up.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Way long.
It wasn't awesome. I can tell you that.
How'd you do that? Did you get close?
Well, what you'll see in a minute, but what you don't take into account is Colin edits the videos. It took me like 2 minutes to get into my disc to figure out how I was even going to throw it.
You guys are lucky to even find it. Once it gets in those bushes, they can be hard to find. Good putt from DJ there.
Yeah, great putt by DJ, cleaning up the birdie, and I'm in here stuck way in the bush. This is for par. I was actually pumped that my little tomahawk putter shot got to here.
Good putt. Good putt. That's not where you want to be for par, but you made the best of it.
Andrew with his up the middle route, putting for birdie, and right on the pole.
Well done. That putt looked much better than his first putt. Got some jitters out of the way. Eric gets a birdie there. So definitely a miss on your part there, but, you know, it happens.
We are in July in this tournament, so I know it's coming out in September, but DJ is ready for the rainstorm that may be coming later in this round. I'm just kidding. We said we'd talk about conditions. It is over 100 degrees when we teed off on this day, so pretty tough heat conditions. But we're moving on to the short third hole here at Wheatland.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. That's it's not where you want to be, Eric.
Yeah, so the low forehand's kind of the only play on this hole. We're all going to throw it. I mean, you can try to get creative. I know Andrew's brother Lewis tries a really silly XD backhand with something that's like 140 grams. But the traditional play is going to be the low forehand. You want to hit the gap that you can see and then take a skip. So DJ going Firebird again. He misses this way left out of the gap, but somehow it gets all the way through and he's got a putt out of it.
All right, so far, no one's hit the fairway. Let's see if you can find it. Well, you found it.
I found the fairway. I got zero skip, which is actually kind of hard to do on this hole. Zero skip and don't have a birdie putt.
Eric also got zero skip on that upshot, leaving himself well short.
Andrew lining up his second shot. Andrew's one of the few guys, I'm going to say this, and maybe I'll get some heat for it, but I think he's one of the few guys that still throw Innova.
Yeah, I think you'd be right. There's not a whole bunch of guys, at least not in the Northwest.
Yeah, once the Paul phase went away with the Nova, it seems like the popularity of the disc went way down. Eric gives a good run for par, but he's going to be left with a bogey putt out of the stuff. I'm lining up my birdie. I'll say attempt, not really a putt. Eric had a lot more speed on his. And then DJ,
Eric was going for it.
DJ from about 45 feet, and we're going to call that the first bad drive birdie of the round. So that means bad drive, miss your line, but sometimes it just takes one good shot on a hole. DJ drains a 45 or 50 footer there, stands still, gets his two.
Walks it in like a boss.
Yeah, so
well.
he picked up 3 shots on Eric on that hole just for making the two.
Wow. Taking advantage.
When you're looking at holes at Wheatland or Willamette Mission State Park, where we are here, you're not thinking a double on this hole. You're playing holes 2 and 3, and you're thinking, I got to get some birdies because now the course gets some teeth and it gets much tougher these next couple holes.
Yeah, definitely. Wheatland's a great course. I think it's a bit underrated. Some power players definitely have some advantages on some of the holes. That being said, you don't have to have a ton of power to still play really well out there.
So what's your play on 4 here? I know there's a couple different lines that we may see players take.
Yeah, I try to go with a straight stall to hyzer over that tree in the center, and it's all I have, full power, and I'm usually coming up short. Looks like you guys are all throwing pretty much full hyzers, either inside that tall tree on the right or on the outside if you're going super big. But I feel like this one is just out of my reach. I think this is probably well within all of you guys' reach.
Yeah, I'm throwing a Champion or C-Line FD3 on this that I actually got from you. Our dear friend Justin Anderson gave it to you, and I took it before you ever got a chance to throw it. So that's what I'm letting go on this one. I agree. It's kind of the stall shot that's over the tree that you see all our discs going over. The first day, because the wind was blowing right to left, I actually threw a hyzer around the big tree that you saw in the video. You can kind of go either way, but this is not a guaranteed birdie, even if you throw a good drive. You have to beat quite a few trees that are in the green area, and I'm guessing when this course was put in, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago now, this hole was probably quite a bit easier than it is. But these filbert trees out on this course grow so fast that no matter how often they get chopped down, it seems like they're always in the way.
Nice putt by Andrew. Yeah, so another good putt there. These trees are getting really tall, and you can't see any of them off the tee. So once you make that corner, it's just all about luck as far as where your disc lands and whether you're going to be clean to the basket or you're going to have from a knee putt or maybe even in the middle of a bush with no putt.
How many groups do you think get 3 birdies on this hole? It seems kind of crazy that we had Andrew's drive just outside the circle, Eric's drive at about 20 feet, and my drive got to, it looked like about 5 feet. And even DJ had a little bit of a look, but he was blocked out. That seems to be a really good grouping on that one.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the best groupings I've ever seen in that hole. From my experience, it's typically 1 birdie in the group at best.
Yeah, and then we move on to maybe the most dangerous hole on this course, hole 5. Andrew shows you why it's so dangerous. That drive needs to be about 15 feet higher than it actually was. You're not trying to necessarily throw it down the path. I think most of us are all going to be trying to go up high like this. Stall shot, that's what you're looking for. You're throwing your fastest and generally most overstable distance driver up high, and if you don't quite have the power to do that, this hole becomes really hard.
Yeah, this is a very difficult hole if you don't have power. That being said, everyone on this card has the ability to get over and get out in the open as long as you don't throw it low like Andrew did. And Eric says, oh my goodness, we're going to throw this thing to the moon. But he got it far enough to the right that it should be fine. Just definitely not as far as he was hoping for.
Yep, totally fine. DJ lets his go basically with the idea to be on the same line. Eric's and I both stood up. He did not get his disc to stand up, which means it's out of bounds over the path on the left. Kind of tough to do. You don't see a lot of drives end up OB over there unless you really have enough power to do it. And Andrew is in a pretty tough spot here and throws a pretty dang incredible forehand to get back out in the open.
Yeah, that was a great out. Looks like Eric got pretty lucky to land out in the open and did not take advantage of that. Possibly a little windy?
It is windy, and this hole is playing. You can actually see the normal basket's got a trash bag over it right now. This hole's playing about 120 feet farther than it normally does. I love this extended pin on it. I think that the normal hole has way too much like par 3.5 written on it, and this makes you throw really good second shots. As you see, both DJ and I go over the road and kind of a tough angle. If our discs hit left of that road, they're not going to get back in bounds, and we're going to be taking a penalty stroke and throwing from there. But the big tree that was in our way is just too thick to throw around the other way. So Andrew's playing the extreme right side of the fairway, which means that tree's not in play for him, and he misses about 25 right, but he'll have a putt.
Yeah, that's a great spot to be considering where he was off the tee pad.
Yep. Eric
luckily stays in bounds. Getting close there. All right. What are you staring at here? 25, 20?
Yeah, 25 feet probably. Like I said, a little breezy this day, and I struggle really bad when it gets hot with my putting. And it's not a secret. It's something that I carry D-line putters or DX putters or the P2s. They're kind of soft, and when we get into 100-degree days, I at times really struggle to have consistent grip and consistent releases with how soft my putters get.
All right, some good putting from the group here. Andrew with a little bit of a hot putt, but it stays in. Thank you, Mach X. DJ with a tap in.
Yep, good par. You know, after you throw your drive out of bounds on a hole, anytime you can walk away with par on a hole that not a lot of people are birdieing anyways, that's got to feel pretty good and get some momentum moving forward.
Yeah. All right, so we're going from a bit of a bomber hole where you're going to throw hard and then you're going to have to throw accurate, and we're going to go into a nice short hole that everybody should birdie, but it doesn't get birdied as often as it should.
Nope, there's your idea, right? You're taking a putter, that's a star stud that's kind of beat up, you're throwing it dead straight down the middle. Andrew looks like he's going maybe Classic Rock. Is it a Classic Rock or a Star XD? One or the other. Those boys both throw those things.
Yeah, that was a Classic Rock. That was a nice little kiss off the tree. Eric is throwing a little less traditional play here. Going for the forehand. I'm assuming that was supposed to have a lot more anhyzer on it.
I'll go on the record and say I do not like the forehand play on this hole. I don't think it sets up with what's early left off the tee pad that you need to kind of hug, and he paid for it a little bit, but he ended up hitting the stuff and rolling out towards the fairway a bit, so he's got this 35 or 40 footer for birdie.
Didn't want it.
Yep, looked like an awkward stance. Speaking of not wanting it,
you are definitely not happy with that.
Sometimes you just kind of look up and don't understand what just happened, and that was one of those times where I was 24 feet away from the basket, celebrating because I actually hit the gap on that hole. Get up there, and then you doink a 24-footer. Disc golf's a funny game sometimes.
I do think that one of the reasons that hole is so difficult is because it follows a hole that is completely the polar opposite.
So, as
I
we
might be making excuses.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, as we move into hole 7, you can see no one's really taken big advantage of the opening part of this round. We're all a couple under par, but Andrew first to tee off after his birdie in the last hole, and this is a 2-shot hole, so it's 417. There's no way to get your drive anywhere close to this basket. We're all throwing pitch shots. DJ's is a little wide and a little low, gets into the opening. Andrew's looked fine. It's a gator or similar, slow, really overstable backhand. There's your idea, just taking it and pitching it through the gap, letting it skip. And then, once again, Eric, for some reason, trying to force a forehand down the other gap, which you can take, but I struggled to see how the forehand leads you to the right spot on this hole. I think the backhand's a much more normal, traditional play on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. The forehand all too often puts you where Eric is at, and I really have no idea what he's even looking at from that perspective.
Because of the camera view and the fact that we weren't over there, I also don't know what he was looking at. This is your traditional second shot. Firebird, forehand, up high, let it crash in by the basket. You're going to have a tough time just because of the angle seeing where these things go, but if they get up in that gap and then they start moving right, understand that they're going to have a putt.
Tomahawk.
Yeah, interesting choice, right? We saw that live. I didn't understand why he threw Tomahawk and not Thumber, but I think he threw a flat top Firebird that was so overstable it couldn't do anything except for go right.
All right, Andrew taking the gap, which is not very often taken.
Yep, and yeah, you got to get in the perfect spot to be able to take that gap. Eric is semi-fortunate, it looks like, to end up where he did after trying to throw a hyzer. Tried to throw a forehand roller. That didn't work, and then goes pretty much laying up from 50 feet because of the cover. And he's going to take a bogey on a hole that you want to be getting birdies on.
Yeah, you definitely like to get birdies here. That's not to say that this hole does not have a lot of inherent danger. On that second shot, if you don't get in the right position, you try and force it, you can easily put yourself in a really, really bad spot, as we've seen our friends do in the past.
Our friends being this friend in a final 9 a couple years ago, and him and I were battling, and he decided to try to throw a forehand that went a mile left into the blackberries and took like a 6 or a 7 or something. But we both clean up birdie putts there, which, get your 3, move on. DJ was a little short with his tomahawk and wasn't able to cash in on the putt. That's a good, fun par 4. I almost think it's like an East Coast par 4, right? You hear so much about big open holes that we have, but that's kind of East Coast style. In the woods, like North Carolina style par 4.
That's a fun hole.
Yep. And another fun hole here on hole 8.
All right, so this hole here, we got almost everybody's going to throw a forehand. Not to say you can't throw a mid turnover shot, but forehand either on the outside of that dead tree or the inside. Most people throw on the outside. You're just trying to get it to crash over there to the right underneath that tree that we can kind of see in the distance. It's not super far. It's only like 300, 320, something like that. Or 293.
Yeah, Andrew tried to go up the gut. I went wide forehand. I don't know if I like the up the gut play. I would actually throw this shot that DJ just threw. He was trying to throw a turnover with the star stud first. Eric's also throwing turnover. I'm not real sure what he's throwing. That was yanked way inside. You need to go around that dead tree on the left if you're going to try to get to the basket. But this is where Andrew's forehand ended up.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth in the past, going under the inside route like Andrew did, and going on the outside. I think it's definitely a lot safer to go on the outside. Yep. It kind of just depends on the shape of your forehand. Wow, great putt from DJ.
Yeah, so we were joking with him at this point because that drive was yanked inside. We told him it was the second bad drive birdie of the round, but when you're banging putts, that's all that matters. He did not get my putt on video, which was perfectly fine with me. It did not go in. I took a par on that hole. I kind of had some low cover, and I think I threw it into the cage again. But we're moving on. Hole 4. This hole also has an extended, or hole 9, sorry, par 4. This hole also has an extended pin, but this is where the big boys can come out and start ripping some drives.
Yeah, this is a great spot to really let loose, get rid of some frustration. You can throw it out there literally as far as you want, and if you can throw it really far, the only thing you have to worry about is that tree way off in the distance. If you get on the wrong side of that thing, it can be a little challenging to get back towards the basket. With the skip. Looks like you guys are all throwing pretty stock hyzers.
Yeah, and then we come into the second shots here, and because this hole's extended, it's not something that we all play very often, so a little tough to judge the distance on these second shots.
Yeah.
I think the biggest key as you watch all these kind of come in, the biggest key for throwing this upshot is knowing your distance, and I always carry a rangefinder in my bag to know shots like that, just because if they are open field, and especially on a course like this where everything's so flat, it's hard to judge how far you are away from the basket.
Yeah, and in this case here where you haven't gotten to practice it a whole lot because the basket's never over there, definitely an extra challenge, although it's also kind of fun because nobody's gotten to practice it.
Right.
So no one has any advantage. That looks like a great line. Good run from DJ from probably, 50?
Yeah. he definitely straightened his drive out a little too much. He goes back there, and you'll see some cleanups on short putts here, but you want to 3 this hole? I actually think that DJ, Eric, and I all threw a $5 bet on who would throw their drive the farthest on that hole, and the old man beat the kids out. Don't worry about it. That's why I was throwing last on the upshot. I actually got them both by like 4 feet. We were all right next to each other. So, and then we were all like, well, if I would have went for it, and we all said the same thing. We're like, yeah, but in the tournament, it's more important to get left than it is to throw it a long way. So,
yeah, judging by the angle you guys released on, you weren't trying to go for max distance.
Right. So we'll move on to hole 10. This is the last hole. We're actually playing 20 holes for this tournament, so there's going to be 2 10-hole parts. What's your play here? I mean, it seems pretty simple.
Yeah, this is a really fun hole. It's a pretty stock hyzer. You can throw Firebirds, you can throw T-Birds, just about anything you want, really. You can probably even throw Rock X3s if you got some extra power. You're just going to hang it out over that tree. It is a little bit uphill towards the basket, so you want to try and get some good height on it and get that carry. So far, it looks like everyone's doing great, except for Eric's trying to throw it to the moon and way right.
Yeah, I like the fairway driver on it. I mean, I get that you can get a mid there, but it just doesn't seem to make sense to have to throw one that hard. DJ throws his 4 miles in the air. Seems unnecessary when you can just hug the tree, but him and Eric seem like they both didn't have quite the release that they wanted. You want to be inside 15 feet on this hole.
Ideally, yeah, definitely. Well, when you can make that kind of putt, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, bang. DJ's putter is on fire.
That's his 3rd bad drive, birdie.
Yeah, right. I think we were all joking about it during the round. That's why I was thinking about it as we're doing this.
Ooh. Good run.
Yep, Andrew's putter not as on fire as DJ's. I'll go ahead and clean up mine. That's where you want your drive, right? You don't want to really have to putt on this hole. And then Eric goes ahead and cleans up his birdie. His drive actually got a lot farther left than it looked like on camera. So good birdie from Eric. I got mine. DJ with a good putt, and Andrew goes ahead and taps in his par. But we can look at some scores real quick. I'm at 18, Andrew 14, and Eric and DJ are tied at 12 as we get ready to head into the back 10. And what's coming up is a section that we can really score on this course. You got a lot of birdie holes all in a row starting now, and the goal is to go get as many of them as possible. So thank you to AGL Discs for sponsoring this video, and thanks for Colin for doing the video and the editing. We'll be back shortly with part 2.
Thanks, guys.